gadgets nga walang gamita. Dunganon ta, magplansya sa tanan mga sinina. Dagino ta, ang ref ayaw pirmi abri sirado.
Magdagino ta, pahinumdum kanimo.
Ikan sa sipal ko. Wow, 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 wow.
Suga og gadgets nga walang gamita. Dunganon ta, magplansya sa tanan mga sinina. Dagino ta, atong power supply kulang kaayo.
Magkahiusa, pahinumdum kanimo.
Ikan sa sipal ko. Wow, 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 wow.
Sa panahon nga gamay ra ang supply sa kuryente ug mahal ang pagpalit niini. Magkahiusa. Dagino ta. Click on sipago.com for more. Pahinumdum kanimo.
Ikan sa sipal ko. Wow, 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 wow.
Ang bells Diyos lamian na umasustansya pa. Iha ang tanang lamig nga gitang-gitan pami. Four seasons calamansi, mango, pineapple, calamansi. Pine mango, floppy, a cucumber. Bells Juice, para sa pamilya. Bells Juice, bells refreshing juice.
Preview.
Yes, we're live. Maayong hapon, mga ka-online, mga ka-OBM. Kini ang inyong host, Angelica Labajo.
Ano more, may ngapon sa tanan.
Yes, so makauban na pud mi ninyo karon sa bag-ong live and bag-ong topics nga ato ang paggisguta na pud karon. Og ubay-ubay gud mi ninyo karon makauban diri sa ato ang programa sa Youth Today. And sa mga naminaw og naglantaw karon sa ato ang live, no, welcome sa ato ang programa diri sa Oro Broadcast Media. Pizza Agosto 3 tuig 2022 adlaw sa game saya sa
Martes.
Martes ba? Di ba Wednesday naman?
Martes.
Yes.
Ay, Miyerkules.
Adlaw
Sorry na,
Miyerkules. So, ubay-ubay gid atong pag-uban karon kada hapons. And sa tong mga ka-online diha, no, kamusta to ang adlaw? Hinaot nga maayo ang dagan sa inyong adlaw karon. Yes, again, maayong hapon sa tanan, no? And karon sa ato ang programa, ato ang hisgutan ang pornography. Ang programang ito ay rated SPG. So, this topic is medyo murag, kuan gid siya, no, seryoso. So, pornography, isa ni siya sa pinaka-importante nga topics na dapat ma-discuss sa mga parents, sa mga teens, sa ilang mga anak, no? It's not unusual for teens to be curious about sex. Ilang hormones out of control and they often don't understand, especially in the beginning. So, isa sa rason nga no ang teens turns to porn is because they are embarrassed about sa ilang feelings or sa ilang physical reactions and thoughts. Ang goal is to differentiate pornography from real life and i-explain nimo ang sa imong teen or sa imong anak nga ang pornography is about a fantasy and it is a template for real life relationships. So, this is another topic na ang parents must let their children know that they are comfortable talking to them about. So, your teen and porn. Your teen isn't a sexual deviant for watching porn, but unhealthy use could affect their psychological well-being. You may have put the parent control settings on your teen's devices. You might check the internet history. You could be taking openly with your teen about appropriate online activities. Kay makita ba gyapon, ma-check ba na makita ba na sa kuno sa mga history or sa Chrome kung sayang gipang search or sayang gipang tan-aw, diba? So still, porn viewing among teens is nearly ubiquitous, and your teen is probably not the exception. Porn as a concept is not inherently harmful to teenage brains, but persisting mental health conditions like anxiety and depression can lead to problematic porn use, and porn may be spread sexual ministration to your teen. So, what are they watching? So, ang teenager first exposure to pornography is often intentional, or a pop-up and might have pornographic content, or a friend might show another teen a video on their phone. Especially karon no sa Facebook, kay daghan kaayo makita nimo nga mga some clips bitaw sa kuan kanang mga scandals or inana, which is dili siya maayo para sa mga sa mga teens or mga kabatanunan, kay mostly ang gagamit biya sa Facebook is ang mga youth baya, diba? And dili gid siya maayo pod kay namboy gay po mga mas bata pa, diba, nga gagamit na og mga, especially sa social media, mga bata gani, even mga elementary mga anak pa nila is gagamit ng mga tabs, diba, gadula sila kuan. So makita gyapon sa bata nga sa through social media nga di nila intention nga makita, pero pag makita nila nga mag-scroll like sa Facebook nga kuan is makita nila yung inana, which is dili siya maayo, kay especially karon gani ginahimo nag-memes ang kanang mga inana, kabantay ka na sis nga daghan kaayo, actually daghan kaayo gid karon sa Facebook yung makita. So dili siya maayo, no. According to 2021 survey, about 55% of teens first encounters with pornography were unexpected. Gone are the days of covertly purchasing and hiding a nude magazine. Porn is always accessible right from the phone in your teen's pocket. So as you can imagine, the survey above found that teens are using phones more than any other format, including desktop computers and tablets to watch porn. So mostly mga conjugate gigit pananaw, no, sa mga tabs or phones nila, while sometimes friends will share pornographic content with others. Viewing porn is primarily as a singular activity. The same survey found that 75% of teens reported viewing alone rather than with peers. Kay lisod-sad kung syempre mas daghan magiging pananaw sila ra gyud isa, no, kay I don't know na may daghan gyapon reasons why mo visit sila sa nga website or magkuan sila, no. So why do teens watch porn? So na yung mga some reasons nga why teens have reported watching porn is include to learn about sex. So di siya no, kanang para sa mga youth or siguro
siguro kay curious sila.
yes. Isa po din sa tuwang gikan sa tuwang source na nga curiosity. So naagi gyapon siya kay kita bigyapon kay nabi ito yung mga curiosity kung kanang why not try na ko inani, or tayo na ko mo tan-og nani nga kuan mo visit ani nga kuan website or porn sites, di ba? To relax. Maka-relax ba di ay? And boredom.
Ano question?
Yes, so naa magyapon diri no nga why some of reasons nga nung magkuan.
Some of the reasons kay para ma-relax.
Yes.
Actually nakoy mga kaila nung moingon na nga mag-watch sila and then mag-masturbate kay para ma-relax daw sila.
Siguro sa ila, no? Or
I don't know with kanang boredom. Siguro sa uban nga kanang naanad na nga na yung lahang kuan.
siguro sungod sa ka bored, like person nang ikaw ra isa sa inyuha or whatever, kung sa magay ng klase nga bored nga masud sa imong utok nga magkuan ka ana, di ba? Sexual sexual pleasure, so and compulsivity. So sometimes it's called hypersexuality. hypersexuality disorder or sexual addiction. It's an excessive preoccupation with sexual fantasies, urge, or behaviors that is difficult to control, causes your distress or negatively affects your health, job, or relationships or other parts of your life. So preoccupation is to the point nga ma-obsess na ka sa sex or porn. Like kanang murag ka-addict na gid ka ba, like di na gid mapugnan ba murag every pila kanang bago ba gani ka nagkuan pila pagka
Normal ba na ang hiinga na or kuan na
siguro
siya?
kung di naman siguro normal no kaming kag nga na-addict na gid. So siguro buta na to nga okay murag normal na magid siguro gyapon nato nga magkuan gyapon ana, pero kuming ka nga na-addict na gyud, like na-obsess na gyud sa sex or porn, marag dapat siya maayo na. So stress reduction, para sa tong giingon ka ganina nga to relax, para malirax sa imong mind or imong body or like something that deep breathing. So self-expression and fantasy. So muna ni siya mga teens nga magkuan na no, you know, di na ko ikuan mention. So muna mga some of the reasons no why teens ganong mo visit sa porn sites or nga na ang mga websites or ganong kuan sila, involved sila ana nga pornography. So karon atong isgot ang mga effects ani no sa mga teens.
Right, so effects of pornography, no? So pornography changes the habits of the mind, the inner private self. Its use can easily become habitual, which in turn leads to desensitization, boredom, distorted views of reality, and an objectification of women. So i-reiterate na ako, no? Its use can easily become habitual. So since habitual, that means may mo na siyang habit sa person, sa youth or anyone. And also it can lead to desensitization, and then boredom, and then distorted views of reality, mabago ang imong perspective, no, or ang imong view sa life, and an objectification of women. So mawalan na ay tendency nga mawalan ka og respeto sa mga babae or sa mga lalaki po. Dili ta magkuan, dili
Haras na dayon, di ba? Nabi uban kay tungod kay sigigtan na og inana merg mamanyak, di ba?
And again, objectification of women, ang imuhang pananaw sa babae is for kuan na lang, ingana na lang activity na nawala na ang respect or ang kuan, ang imuhang, again, ang imuhang views na lahi na. There are also numerous clinical consequences to pornography use, including increased risk for significant physical and mental health problems and a greater likelihood of committing a sex-based crime. So napala yung mga medical or clinical consequences such as increased risk for significant nga mga physical or mental health problems. Also a greater likelihood of committing a sex-based crime. So mang-rape ba ka ha, or like ang bali ang imong motivation ba is sex mo nang gabuhat ka ng crime. So again, going back to our topic, which is effects of pornography, we have first is effects on the mind, body, and soul. So the digital revolution has led to great strides in productivity, communication, and other desirable ends. But pornographers also have harnessed its power for their profit. So kung namang takay takaran, medyo advanced ito sa itong technology, but at the same time, ang mga pornographers daw kay nag-take advantage ani nga itong technology karon. The cause has been a further weakening of the nation's citizens and families, a development that should be of grave concern to all. The social sciences demonstrate the appropriateness of this concern. So, pornography as a visual misrepresentation of sexuality distorts an individual's concept of sexual relations by objectifying them, which in turn alters both sexual attitudes and behavior. It is a major threat to marriage, to family, to children, and to individual happiness. Social scientists, clinical psychologists, and biologists have begun to clarify some of the social and psychological effects of pornography, and neurologists are beginning to delineate the biological mechanisms through which pornography produces its powerful effects on people. So, pornography's power to undermine individual and social functioning is powerful and deep. First, we have the effect on the mind. So, pornography significantly distorts attitudes and perceptions about the nature of sexual intercourse. So, gina-distort niya ang imong attitude, imong views, and perspectives towards the nature of sexual intercourse. Men who habitually look at pornography have a higher tolerance for abnormal sexual behaviors. Sexual aggression, promiscuity, and even rape. So, ang banda ko nung people kay makakommit na og mga different, what do you call this, makakommit na og crime just because anilang distorted views. In addition, men begin to view women and even children as sex objects, commodities, or instruments for their pleasure, not as persons with their own inherent dignity. Then after the effect on the mind, you have effect on the body. So, pornography is very addictive. The addictive aspect of pornography has a biological substrate, with dopamine hormone release acting as one of the mechanisms for forming the transmission pathway to pleasure centers of the brain. Also, the increased sexual permissiveness engendered by pornography increased the risk of contracting a sexually transmitted disease or of being an unwitting parent in an out-of-wedlock pregnancy. And then after the effect on the body, we have the effect on the heart. Pornography affects people's emotional lives. Married men who are involved in pornography feel less satisfied with their marital sexual relations and less emotionally attached to their wives. It's because, malahi ang imuhang views sa reality. Tungod kay watch kag ingana, feeling nimo mao na siyang normal, dapat ingana ang gakahitabo. So, unsatisfied ka sa imuhang say tawag ani, sa imuhang marital sexual relations, and they feel less emotionally attached to their wives. Women married to men with a pornography addiction report feelings of betrayal, mistrust, and anger. No? Pornographic use may lead to infidelity and even divorce. Adolescents who view pornography feel shame, diminished self-confidence, and sexual uncertainty. So, maoto siya ang mga effects of the mind, body, and soul.
Yeah,
Next,
so,
we have...
before ito kunay sa tungkod. Shout out din kay Deans Carl Adrian Garciano, watching from Waltham, Massachusetts, USA. Yeah, so, more tatong kuan. Itong viewers.
And then, second, we have the desensitization, habituation, and boredom. So, prolonged use of pornography produces habituation. Again, habitual na siya or on a daily basis. Boredom and sexual dissatisfaction among female and male viewers. No? and is also associated with more lenient views of extramarital sexual relations and recreational attitudes towards sex. So, heavy exposure to pornography leads men to judge their mates as sexually less attractive. So, gina-judge daw nilang mga partners nga less sexually attractive kay again in watching porn makuad na no ma-change na ang view sa reality, resulting in less satisfaction with their affection, physical appearance, and sexual behavior. The need for more intense sexual stimulation brought on by pornography can lead to boredom in normal relationships and a greater likelihood of seeking sexual pleasure outside of marriage. So maka-result pa din siya in married people cheating. A repeated exposure to pornography leads the viewer to consider recreational sexual engagements as increasingly important and changes the viewer to being very accepting of sexual permissiveness. So mo to siya ang desensitization, habituation, and boredom. And then we have distorted perception of reality. So pornography presents sexual access as relentless, a sporting event that amounts to innocent fun with inconsequential effects on emotions, perceptions, and health. This is not the case, however. Pornography leads to distorted perceptions of social reality, an exaggerated perception of the level of sexual activity in the general population, an inflated estimate of the incidence of premarital and extramarital sexual activity, as well as increased assessment of male and female promiscuity. So an overestimation of almost all sexual activities performed by sexually active adults. So these distortions result in an acceptance of three beliefs. So first is sexual relationships are recreational in nature. Second, men are generally sexually driven. And third, women are sex objects or commodities. So all of these distortions amount to a serious misunderstanding about sexuality and relationships and are a dangerous distortion of the nature of social life. So kaning mga distorted views, no, distorted perception sa reality tungod kay kuan. One example is para mas masabtan no sa atong mga younger audience is or younger viewers is, for example, K-drama. So sige kag watch og K-drama na addict na ka. So ngimo na nung pananaw sa view, dapat kay kuan gyud kanang Prince Charming gid pud ang ako ang
Biban ka magot-awot nag-isa lang language, di ba?
Nga na bitaw. So tungod kay sige kag watch ana nga certain medium or like certain content, ma-change gyud ang imong views, ang imong standards, no? Magkuan.
So ginatan-aw makita is mag-adapt dayon nimo, no?
So same goes for pornography. Since sige kag watch, ang imong views na dayon kay ma-distort, malahi. So ingana siya, no? I hope nakagets mo sa akong example. So again, all of these distortions amount to a serious misunderstanding about sexuality and relationships. To those who perceive pornographic sexual scenes as depicting reality tend to be more accepting of sexual permissiveness than others. Prolonged exposure to pornography fosters the belief that sexual inactivity constitutes to a health risk. So maoto siya ang distorted perception of reality. And then we have number 4, sexually transmitted disease. So since pornography encourages sexually permissive attitudes and behavior, users of pornography have a higher likelihood of contracting a sexually transmitted disease. So pornography's frequent depiction of intercourse without protection is an invitation for the promiscuous to contract a sexually transmitted disease, and worse kung magka HIV or AIDS, no? So tungod kay kuan
dagan kay sa kinsa na lang or ana or
distorted nang imong view sa reality na kay mga distorted perceptions sa na imong gapang buhaton siguro, and it can lead to sexually transmitted diseases. And naa na ba cure ang AIDS karon? Wala pa siguro, no?
Murag, I don't, murag wala pa man siguro.
Okay, last time I checked, wala pa na siya cure. So, and life-threatening gid siya. So, very siya.
Maya gid siguro if kung mahimo magpa-cleaning gid, especially itong mga babae.
So, pornography also promotes sexual compulsiveness, which doubles the likelihood of being infected with a sexually transmitted disease. So, mo to siya ang number 4, which is sexually transmitted disease. One of the effects of watching pornography. And then we have sexual addiction. So, pornography and cybersex are highly addictive and can lead to sexually compulsive behaviors. Over 90% of therapists surveyed in one study believe that a person could become addicted to cybersex. A 2006 Swedish study of regular internet pornography users found that about 6% were compulsive users, and that these compulsives are also used much more non-internet pornography as well. So, addictive pornography use leads to lower self-esteem and a weakened ability to carry out a meaningful social and work life. It can also lead daw sa para mag-cause sa isa ka person to have a low self-esteem. Siguro tungod kay again, taas mong standard, tas feeling naman sa mong self, kay dili ka enough, kulang ka and such, siguro nga mag-lead siya to lower self-esteem. And then also a survey of pornography addicts found that they dislike the out-of-control feeling and the time conception that their pornography use engendered. All of the sexual compulsives reported that they had felt distress and experienced impairment in an important aspect of their lives as a result of their addiction. So, maauto siya guys sa sexual addiction. And also, sexual addiction can lead to bisag kinsa na lang siguro ang imuhang ang imuhang ka partner sexually speaking, and
Kinsa na lang yung gamiton tungod kay sexual addiction na ka.
And again, it can lead to clinical consequences such as STD.
Yes, mga sakit nga pwede mong makuha, no?
Right. And then we have number 6, aggression and abuse. So, intense use of pornography is strongly related to sexual aggression. And among frequent viewers of pornography, there is a marked increase in sexual callousness, including the rape myth acceptance. A significant portion of pornography is violent in content. A study of different pornographic media found violence in almost a quarter of magazine scenes, in more than a quarter of video scenes, and in almost half of online pornography. A second study found that almost half the violent internet scenes included non-consensual sex.
Especially karon nagdagan kay cases karon sa rape, no?
Right. So, one study at a rape crisis center interviewed 100 sexually abused women to determine if pornography played a role in any past incidences of sexual abuse. While 58% could not say, 28% stated that their abuser had in fact used pornography. Of this 28%, 40% reported that pornography actually played a role in the abusive incident they experienced. In some cases, the abuser had watched pornography before abusing the woman. In one case, he used pornography while committing the abuse, and in yet some other cases, he forced his victim to participate in making of a pornographic film. So again, one of the effects of watching pornography is committing crimes and abuse.
Even mga bata kay gina-rape, especially katong itabo diri sa toang syudad nga na ay gi-rape niya yang nag-date ata to sila sa sa tulay ba to?
Mga teenagers or adults?
Mga teenager, I don't know kung mga bata para tato sila. Namatay mo dito, gipatay mo itong laki din ang bae kay rape yung girlfriend.
Okay.
Food driver man ata to siya. I don't know kung laki ko ka pero nadunggan ng ako.
Ang lalaki gipatay si mabay rape.
Yes.
And
So dagan kaayo no, bisan mga bata, mga pila pay edad. So wala sila karon na nga ilang nga edad is ilang i-rape ang bata nga, which is pwede siya maka-lead nga ilang gyapong, di ba, ang uban is patyo nila, di ba? Kinapoy uban is dili pod ni ilang ripon, pero dili nila kuan, nila patyon, pero napoy mas makuan lang tong uban katong mas ano sa tawag ani, swerte lang tong uban nga dili ginako ano, kinabay uban kay paguman sa rape kay patyon din kay mahadlok isumbong, di ba? Mahadlok priso or what or unsa.
So, naa ba tayo ikadugang sa mga kuan na to? Ito ang program for today. Napa ba tayo ikadugang, sis?
Yes, so what ay mga public opinions diya?
So, for public opinions, no, ang question is, are there negative consequences for watching pornography? So, let's see. We have from Michael Grief, no? According to him, there are negative effects, but I can only speak for myself as I have been experiencing the bad with the good. The effect of porn is not easy to understand, especially not when everyone around you considers porn to be the norm or to be normal. It seems normal to watch porn. Friends motivate each other to watch porn, to test their sexuality, to prove whatever nonsense. But once you have the chance to look deeper into the whole thing, see behind the curtain, you will notice that porn shows sexuality in a way it does not work. Porn is basically pure sex reduced to an all-time activity with no real purpose behind it. Sex only to have fun. The more you consume that, the more you start to believe in the messages given through porn. We can see the effects of porn in our society. What, you don't watch porn? You are gay? Yes, this happens. Back in school, people were laughing at me because I haven't been into watching porn. But now when I think straight about what kind of people those have been, I'm happy to not be one of them. Their smirk smiles, unfunny jokes, wacky behavior, and all of this because of watching porn. As porn grows bigger, it seems to get unavoidable at one point. It infests everything. You, the people around you, the media's friends, school, job routine, etc. So again, according to him, no, negative effects of porn is makig sexual activity ka sa imong sexual partner just to have fun and no other kaning deeper meaning.
Mag-ila lang gibuhat og kanang binuang no ang ngani nga mga lingaw-lingaw ba nga magkuan sila, mag-sex sila, mag-video sila, then uban kay i-post, wala ra sa ila, normal ra sa ila bitaw nga inana. Ay uban kay wala ra sa ila og mo sikat ba sila or dili. Kay kana pa lang dahil nga nag-video ka, nagkuan mo, kay kabalo na ka unsa ay kuan ana consequence, di ba? Especially sa gabi ka powerful ang social media. So dapat kung kita nakatay tarong nga panguna-una, siguro inyo na lang siguro na ilang siguro mag-take og video, di ba? Then i-post dayon, kalat dayon, na kada kan ba mga marites diri. Dagan nakaayog mga chismoso nga kuan di ba send ngani nga napatanawa ko nana.
Siguro sa mga married people no, kung mag-video manggaling niyo sa inyo ara na ayun na niyo i-post or kalat or saba. Paliyog lang.
Siguro mag-sex especially kung in relationship. Pero ingana na nga mag-video mo, inyong i-post or whatsoever, especially karon nga sa Facebook, di siya maayo gid kay daghan na gid kaayo naghimo nag memes, maghimo nag binubinuang
karon. Sa mga
karon.
social medias.
Yes, so daghan ba kayo bata no nga makakita.
Gagamit gyapon.
Kay dili ra baya mga youth or mga teens or even gani mga elementary or kuan kay ga Facebook na nanay Facebook.
So sa mga parents pud no, proper guidance sa tong mga kids, sa tong mga youth.
Right.
Para dili sitawagan na mapariwara ang landas.
Yes, ano po yung mga friends no or mga BI jud kaayo nga nang share videos, 'di ba? Kanang
Right.
mga sa like GC or nana nga GC nila nga kuan mga scandals or mga updated kaayo sa
Mao na
mga
ang-
panghitabo. Kinapig inana gyapon nga mga circle of friends or mga friends nimo nga kuan jud mga BI kaayo.
Mo na ang kuan kay no lisod kay para sa mga parents or sa mga guardians na guide nimo kinsa ang may mong friends si moang anak kay like wala kay control mong gud ana. Kung
Right.
kinsa ang ilang gina-socialize and whatnot. So, what you can do na lang yun siguro
Napud ba
is...
sila privacy? Wala pud ba kayo nga i-check nimo ilang privacy or messenger mga anana ba?
The only thing ang siguro i-briefing ni mong anak to always choose who they interact with, who their friends are, no? Kaya mga makaayo lang sila ug dili nang makadaot para sa
Ibang friends kay bisag ikaw wala ka di ka hilig tanaw or ikaw di ka ga-view on ang porn sites pero nay uban good friends nimo nga uy tanawa ganito tanaw na to ni kanana di ba? Pakita sa mo ang video kita nakatungkuan. Nay uban so mga curious so tanawa daw ko bi. So muna dayon na siya no. Nay uban mag-start na dayon.
So, kani according to Anonymous, you should not watch porn and masturbate. It decreases your intelligence, capability, and you tend to forget things more likely. So that's according to him. Here is from Karen Teed. Based on what I have heard from women in relationships with men who watch a lot of porn, it will ruin your real sex life. I can say whether the men in those relationships would say the same thing. As a rule, the benefits and joys of life go most to people who actually do stuff rather than those who sit around and watch other people do stuff. I can see how this would be any different for watching porn. And then we also have napabatay yung mga commenters. From Min Ando. Pornography may give you a false impression on people. For example, cleanly shaved or hairless vagina, pink colored and pleasant smell, unwashed genital sex is only about intercourse, or many fetishes which are only in the role play form with consent. So basically what Miss or Mr. Min Ando is saying is that naa kay mga false impressions, as what we've mentioned kaganina over and over again, false impressions, distorted views of reality, change in perspectives, no? So para lang sa katong example na kung giingon sa inyo, pag sigag watch og K-drama, malay na day nang imuhang kuan.
Hirang
Feeling-
addiction di ba nga puminti nimo kuan. Katana pa kang K-drama sis.
sa una feeling nimo
Maka-addict ba gyud siya kay for what I've experienced no sa magsigig tanaw addict man ko sa una kuan hilig ko tanaw kay drama ba then wala na magsige na ko kuan sige na ko sige na ko matulog sorry na-distract na may kana di na ko kakatulog di na ko kakakuan nya unta pa usahay kada beto ni lang istinaryahan ba marag ma-adapt nimo nga marag maawat nimo bitaw magbibinuang na din ka.
So, para ito akong gi-mention, no, like, example na ko ang K-drama na, dapat kung makita na ko ang the one, dapat mag-slow-mo ang world.
sana
Dapat mahulog ang mga kuan, mga petals of flowers. Yung mga ingana, no? Malahi ang imuang perception sa reality. So, maor siguro kato ang mga comments, ito mga public opinion. So, dapat ba tayo ikadugang for
yes,
today's
so,
topic?
maulang tato siya, no? Og, unta nga, naamoy, natun-an sa mo ang gipanghisgutan, sa gamay lang, no? And, especially sa itong mga kabataan unan, sa itong mga youth, sa mga teenagers, or whatsoever and such. So, time check, it's, yes, CC.
So, time check, it's already 5:09 in the afternoon. So mga viewers, salamat kaayo sa mga naminaw diya sa itong mga ka-online ug mga ka-OBM. Don't forget to like our Facebook page, share and subscribe. So sa mga ka-online, magkita-kita na pud ta. Sunod ug mag-amping kita kanunay.
Thank
Maayong
you.
hapon, daghang salamat.